Welcome back to Black Vision Network, the number one place to re-educate the miseducated. We're your co-hosts, Janae
and Theo.
So before we get started, if you're new here and you like what you see, make sure you subscribe and hit that like button for more, content. And don't forget to subscribe down below for issues you'd like us to talk about. So
episode 2 of our education series. What we're going to do today is first recap what we talked about last time. So we established some issues from our perspective that we think are important to address in the Black community. So some of those issues are a lack of representation in information, knowledge of self about Black history, a lack of societal training when it comes to finances, taxes, things of that nature. What are some other things?
Yeah, so that was a little revamp of what we wanted to bring to this table. Right here, we'll link a video of our last video that we put out. And if you didn't get enough of the recap from what we just said, you can go click this video and figure out what we said. And, leave a comment, like, and subscribe after you watch that video if you haven't already. So,
all right. So, yeah. Let's get into it. So, talking about those couple issues from our last video, what we want to do in this video is talk about some of the things that we're working on now to help address those issues. And afterwards, we're going to give you some tips on what helped us personally to overcome some of the challenges that we had as well.
Yeah. So, one of our main goals here is to empower and re-educate the miseducated in the Black community. And to do that, we've been trying to give out informative posts on our Instagram. If you haven't already, go ahead and go follow us on Instagram at Black Vision Network. Yep, put it right here, Black Vision Network. Follow us on Instagram and look out for our webpage coming soon. But we like to show facts about past inventors because we don't like for Black people to lose their empowerment, and we need to see that we are powerful and we're capable of many extraordinary things, including inventing crazy things. Like, I've been doing some research for these posts on Instagram. I know you have too, and we've both been finding amazing things that Black inventors have been doing. And if you want to see exactly what we're talking about, go ahead and like us and follow us on Instagram.
Absolutely. So one of the things that I liked most about my research is finding out not new things about people that I didn't previously know about or were taught about, but how a lot of the Black inventors, the people who were the first in whatever category they were, the versatility that they had. They didn't just invent one thing or do one thing. They were a jack of all trades, if you will, in different aspects and inventing different things. And I think that just speaks to, like Janae said, empowerment. Knowing that without the limited resources that they had, the things that they had to overcome in order to just be at a basic level with everybody else. For example, to be an engineer, a lot of them were self-taught. So those things are huge for your outlook, for your trajectory, kind of like we talked about briefly in the last episode. So yeah, I really enjoyed doing that.
Yeah, definitely. Those are some of the things that we've been doing to, be more informative to the Black community about how crazy geniuses that we have and that you're capable of anything. And because we feel that education is just so important behind being geniuses and just being an empowered person, we put together 4 top tips that helped us to increase our education and our knowledge about the world and just give us a broader perspective on how to approach life. So, you want to start with the first one?
Yeah, so one of the first ones for me is taking risks. So a big thing in my upbringing is, there were certain topics that were taboo, certain things that you didn't learn about, certain things that you just stayed away from just because you had a lack of knowledge of them. What I learned as I got out on my own and found out that there were a lot of things that I didn't know is that in order to learn those things, you have to take risks. For example, with investing, I'm a very conservative, some may call me cheap, person with money. But in order to invest, you have to be willing to take on a certain amount of loss and, chalk it up to learning. Chalk it up to the game and say, hey, I'm going to be willing to see and be comfortable with this amount of loss in order to achieve this amount of gain, or learn what it takes to achieve that amount of gain. And that's something that you just won't get without jumping in feet first and experiencing it.
Yeah, and piggybacking off of that, just because you take a risk, the point is there's no guarantee that you're going to win. And in any type of success, failure is the number one teacher. It's the number one thing that educates anybody who has been successful in life. So I encourage each and every one of you to see each and every failure that you have in life as an opportunity to learn something and to, be more educated. So next, we're going to get into tip number 2, and that is my favorite, to read books. And I know a lot of people don't like to read. It was just a hobby of mine since I've been a child, but books are just, I don't know, there's like so much knowledge out there that's written down on paper for anybody to pick up and read, but it's like the most, I don't know, I feel like it's the most abused education system, because literally a book anybody can read. If you know how to read, anybody can pick up a book, especially in America. God bless America for being able to have the ability to read all the books you want to read. But I think it's important to have the ability to choose something that you're curious about, something that you want to learn more about, something that you know that you lack knowledge in, and you know that knowledge will help you to either earn more money, have stronger relationships, any type of thing, from starting a business to just cleaning your house. There's books out there. There's books about eating, everything that you can imagine, and it's at the tip of your fingers. So I encourage each and every one of you to try to read one book a month. That's my goal, because I try to beat it every time. Ultimately, I want to be able to get up to one book a week, but I just can't read that fast. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I enjoy reading, and I think they're gems right in front of us.
Absolutely. I think even for someone like myself who didn't necessarily enjoy reading or have it as a hobby, I've definitely picked it up as a hobby now, just out of your curiosity. A lot of times some of us are prideful. I don't necessarily like going and asking a lot of other people questions. So a lot of your questions that you find that you may be too nervous or too prideful to ask can be found in a book, and you can find something that you're really passionate about and really enjoy. So we don't want to just tell you to read books. So what we're going to be working on in the background is giving you a list of books that we've read that have inspired us or gave us knowledge in certain areas. So be looking for that coming soon.
I'm excited for that.
All right. So tip number 3. One of this is very important for me recently, going through a transitional period of my life, but surrounding yourself with similar people, similar interests, similar goals, and also seeking out mentorship. So kind of, it's funny that I just mentioned being too prideful to ask questions, but you have to at some point remove your pride to the side and be willing to ask people who've gone through what you want to go through, or have knowledge in certain areas that you want, their perspective on their experience, how they did what they did. Because a lot of times, even though books are great, it's not a perspective for you and I. So a lot of times what I like to do is find people who look like me, who are doing what I want to do. And that's been very helpful for me as of late. And so I definitely encourage you to get out your comfort zone and make connections, because they are huge.
Yeah. So like you said, it really matters who you surround yourself with, because the saying, you are the sum of your 5 closest friends. And so really take a look at who you spend your most time with, and kind of analyze where you want to be in life and with who you spend your time with, and see if there might be a mismatch of where you want to go and who you're hanging out with. So that's definitely important. There's a few books that go more in depth with this, but we'll talk about those in a later video. And so the 4th tip that we have today, the final tip of today's video, is creating a habit of learning something new every day. And that habit can be reading an article on your phone. I have iBooks on my phone. I do that. It could be playing an instrument. It could be perfecting a craft. If you make boats. That was really random. I don't know why that picture popped in my head. I've never made a boat before. If you're an artist, if you, any type of thing like that just like kind of makes you happy and is a skill that you enjoy and just, you know, lifts your frequency, gives you a greater frequency and a higher frequency, then you should do that. Because learning, being able to, you know, exercise your brain, it's like a muscle. If you don't use it, it'll atrophy and it'll shrink and it'll just be pretty much useless. So if you work it out every day, it's gonna be strong. And everybody wants a strong brain, right? Even into your old age. So a lot of people feel like they graduate college and that's the end of school. But like, I was like, this is only the beginning days.
That's what the beginning is always honey. Yeah, you do overdo it and he's overdoing it. Both of you are overdoing it, right?
This is only the beginning, because I feel like after I graduated college, I stopped doing stuff that people kind of forced me. I felt like I was obliged to go to college and learn something so I could be, you know, an employee. But I'm like, I think the one thing that college did teach me is that I should be able to teach myself anything I want to, because the teacher wasn't teaching me nothing, so I had to teach myself. Like, you know, and it helps, and that goes to reinforce the fact that it's good to have friends around you that are better than you, because they lift you up, and people who are less than you will probably pull you down more than like, you're not that strong. So I don't care what you say, do not try to save everybody, because everybody can't be saved if they don't want to be saved. Don't say it, Bob. She don't want to be saved.
Cancelled. But just to piggyback off that, creating a lasting learning environment is very important. Something that I do to help me out with that is schedule it, put it in the calendar, write it down, because you want to hold yourself accountable. I personally dedicate at least an hour a day, or try to, in my schedule, dedicated to just learning or improving myself, reading the current book that I'm reading, or furthering my education to make myself, to better myself for in the job market, or whatever have you, and whatever thing I'm trying to study or get better at that time.
Yeah. So yeah, guys, whatever makes you feel like a better person and always is going to enhance you as a person, make sure you're doing something every day to do it. So yeah, guys, that's the 4 tips. I hope you learned something today. I hope you feel empowered, like you can go out there and conquer the world, because you can.
Absolutely. And so what we're going to do is, after this video, we're also going to have videos on all of those topics that we kind of talked about. We want to show you financial literacy from our perspective, what we've learned. So we'll have videos covering that, and be looking out on the next episode for some interviews from some industry professionals, people in the education field who have done much more than we have, who can share their insights, their perspective, and how we can continue to improve and get better.
Yep, guys. So stay tuned for those next episodes. If you made it this far, you have to subscribe and you have to like. And join us next time. Leave a comment below of what thing you learned the most, what tips you're going to take away and use in your everyday life. And without further ado,
welcome to the journey. Peace.
I don't know. Okay.
Welcome back to Black Vision Network.
Start over. That's gonna make me mad.
Welcome back to the Black Vision Network, the place to re-educate the miseducated. I'm Theo.
And I'm Janae. So before we get... I didn't like that. I'm sorry.
So what would you like to do instead?
Can I do the intro?
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm sorry. Hey there, welcome back to Black Vision Network.
Okay, time out.
It's not likable.
I made a face because I did that tagline. I didn't like the way
I
you said it.
Too long.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
Okay. 15 minutes. Probably like 5 of that is just
Kerfuffle.
welcome to the Black Vision.
I know you're not talking. Beginning.
I said that on purpose.
Okay, there's a lot of other stuff you did say on purpose.
Stop looking at my butt.